Hello everybody, I'm Antonia and this is Noel and we are from Boxtail Soup Theatre Company and this is another Boxtail Scoop.
What?
I forgot to do it last week. This week I thought I'd do it and make you do that.
Ditched it.
Well, I don't know, maybe we should ditch it, I don't really know.
We'll move on, not ditch it.
We have just finished doing a show. We literally have just come off the stage and it was a Christmas Carol, as you can possibly tell from our costumes, not Hansel and Gretel costumes. And we opened Christmas Carol on Wednesday this week. Had an absolutely delightful show on Wednesday evening as our first night. It was lovely.
Really lovely.
It was so nice to come back to it after a year, and we've been thoroughly enjoying ourselves. Sorry, there's a little bit of background noise because there's actually what's happening at the moment in the studio is the snow is being preset for this evening's performance.
Yeah,
so
so
you might be able to hear a ladder.
We've just finished a matinee, 2:30 matinee, which was lovely. It was very full, and yeah, we've got another one this evening. So we're going to kind of get changed in a moment once we've finished having a little chat here, and I guess go and quickly get something to eat and relax a little bit before we come back and get back into costume for this evening's show.
We started 3 show days from yesterday. So yesterday it was 2 Hansel and Gretel and 1 Christmas Carol. Today will have been 1 Hansel and Gretel and 2 Christmas Carol. It changes up all the time, which keeps us on our toes, kind of getting a bit confused about what's happening when. Luckily our wonderful stage manager has made a colour-coded chart for us so that we know exactly what's happening when. But yeah, I mean, Christmas Carol's been lovely. We spoke a little bit, I think, before about changing anything we might have to change slightly because it was designed for the main house space last year and then we've moved it into the smaller studio space. And luckily, we didn't have to change much of the set, as we said before. The set has fitted in nicely. We've just had to move it slightly, so it's in a slightly different position from what it was in because the seating in the studio here at the Everyman is in a sort of horseshoe like that, like a C shape, really, isn't it?
Yes, so you'd kind of describe it as a slight thrust stage, which means that the audience come round on the sides slightly, not all the way round, so about halfway.
Yeah.
But it means that you have to be conscious of that when you're performing, that you're not just giving it all out to the front, that you're also kind of aware of the audience round to the sides as well.
It's very important when you're performing on a stage like that, really, not to stay in straight lines too much, because if you stay in straight lines, each of you is blocking the other one from the sides, the side audience. So we've had to just make sure that we're playing as many of the kind of diagonals of the space as we possibly can. But really, from touring into various different venues, we're quite used to that. We're quite used to having to sort of re-block slightly on our feet during a show. So actually that wasn't too much of a problem. There were a couple of moments that we made sure that one of us stepped out, sat in a seat to make sure that you'd be able to see and that we've changed slightly how we do them. But on the whole, it's a sort of, you get a natural feel for something. You get a natural feel for where the audience are and how much you're sharing, making sure that you're sharing with everyone. And it's a really nice space to perform in. Yeah,
what's lovely is that it's very, very intimate. So the front row are at times just maybe a foot or two away from you. So, you know, if you wanted to, you could reach out and actually grab hold of them. And
we don't.
No, we don't, no. It means, though, that you can be very, very delicate with some things, or very, very, nuanced with little facial expressions and things like that, and you know that they can be seen easily.
And actually, in some ways, you can play a little bit more with your voice because you're not having to project out to the back of a big theatre. We tend not to use radio mics, really, unless we absolutely have to, or it's necessary for the space. So, but in a space like this, obviously, you can speak generally speaking on a natural level, can't you, really, because they are so close to you. And then when you do use a slightly larger voice, it's to emphasise things and whatever.
And then there's a couple of little tricks in the show, a little kind of practical ways that we use the set that we've had to change slightly. The most notable of which, as we've said before, is the Ghost of Christmas Future, and we'll probably chat about that in a later vlog. And
we kind of don't want. We were considering today showing you how we've done it because it's very clever. It was Noel's idea and it's genius. It works really well, but we don't want. Just in case anybody's watching these who hasn't come to see the show yet, we don't really want to give it away because it's quite a cool moment. A little boy told me it was his favourite actually on the way out.
Oh yeah? Yeah,
I think he must have been about 8 maybe, and he just came up to me and he was like, "Future was my favourite," which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, so maybe we'll save that for sort of towards the end of the run. And actually, that's another really nice thing about performing in this space is that because the audience are so close and because there's not really a barrier between them and you, when they leave, they kind of all file past you. So there is really an opportunity to hear what they thought, or for them to come over and say, you know, whether they've enjoyed it or not and what they liked. And the feedback has been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's been so
really,
lovely. People have been
really
very
lovely.
generous with their comments, and actually we had people spontaneously shouting out Merry Christmas at the end of this afternoon's
Yes, we did. We
performance, which was
inspired them
absolutely
to
lovely.
actually shout out during the end of the
Merry
show.
Christmas.
Yes, that was good.
So that was very nice.
So they've all been pretty busy so far as well. Today's show was full. You know, all of them.
Yeah,
I
they've
think
been
there
full.
are there are only a
I think there are
tiny
about 4 tickets left on the whole run,
for the whole
basically,
thing. Yeah.
which is amazing. And thank you to everybody who has booked to come along. And apologies to anybody who hasn't. I do always look out for returns because there might be some. I think that's really probably all we have to say today. It's a sort of funny thing while we're here. Obviously, we've not got any making to show you or design or anything like that because we're just here, we're getting on with it, we're doing shows. So it's much more of a kind of diary entry.
Yes, it is, and I think also because yesterday was our first show, 3-show day of doing Hansel and Gretel, Christmas Carol. Today's the first one of doing Hansel and Gretel, Christmas Carol. We will now start to get into a little bit more of a routine as well. So really, we haven't had much chance to think about anything else up to this point. But now we can relax slightly more, and so maybe we can sort of plan ahead slightly more.
I mean, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm
No,
reckoning
let's
this
not
is going to be what
promise.
this is going to be like for the rest of this month. Hopefully you'll enjoy our little chats. And thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed recently. We noticed a little bump in the subscribers, which is really nice, so welcome. And I hope you're enjoying the vlogs. There's a call out for the Panto cast. If you are enjoying the vlogs, please do leave us a comment, a like, ask any questions that you would like. We'd be more than happy to answer them. And otherwise, we will see you again next week.